I mean, let's start there.
So yeah,
So like,
we're gonna start Cato Sicarius, worst character in 40K.
yeah, he's pretty bad.
But yeah, so tell me about his early childhood life. What made him such a tool?
All right, so like, you know that this guy is being set up to be like cannot fail when he's born like the heir of a noble house on a world in Ultramar, in one of the most rich worlds in Ultramar.
Sure,
Right?
which is gonna be like the nicest suburb of Hollywood. Like just
Probably.
like
I mean, it's real nice.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And so, by the time he was 4, he could like he could wrestle and sword fight, and he was very interested in war. And by the time he was 10, he could beat any warrior twice his age.
maybe. And this is maybe this is me.
Oh, man.
Maybe the warriors of Talazar are just really bad.
Yeah, maybe they just suck.
Or they just sucked. Because
But-
if you tell me that like a 4-year-old kid can beat everyone else in combat, my first reaction is not how good is that 4-year-old? It's like how bad are the rest of those people?
Well, I guess like a 4-year-old that can swing a sword, like any 4-year-old can swing a stick. I mean,
Yeah, but I
same
don't
difference.
sign up a 4-year-old to the military and like see him with a gun and be like, man, such a good
Well,
soldier.
they didn't sign him up until he was 10, I think. And then they were like, well, I mean, you got to try out for the Ultramarines. And he's like, all right. I'll do it."
Like it's like that football movie with Mark Wahlberg.
So we got to walk
You're
on
gonna walk on tryout.
onto the Ultramarines. Well, I mean, he just had to like tell him his name, and they're like, well, yeah, okay, cool. So like his family are like planetary governors and shit like that.
Oh,
so like,
nepotism rife in Ultramarines.
100%. So they get him in there. He's like the perfect recruit or whatever, and flies through everything. He becomes very quickly a sergeant, and then he becomes a company champion for 2 of the different companies, first the 4th company and then the 1st company.
Right.
And then it's noted with distinction that neither of the captains in those companies died because of his battle skill.
Oh, so he stopped his own upward momentum by keeping his
If
captains
you just would have
alive.
let him die, if he would have graduated a little bit faster to captain probably. But
Yeah.
then he becomes captain and people start talking shit. They're like, well, I don't know if you're like tactical enough to be captain, right?
He's not tactically perfect. He's
No.
tactically adequate.
He's adequate. So he masters the art of the swift drop pod insertion. That's his special.
Oh, you mean
deal.
the base Space Marine tactic?
Right,
Most
right.
Ultimate
Well,
Marines
wait.
are trained.
But he's so good at it that it leaves other Space Marines in awe. Exactly the same as Ragnar Blackmane. I'm just saying this. Like they're the same. Like they're
Can you
the same.
imagine being a Space Marine, training 20 hours a day, being genetically modified to be a super soldier, taught how to use every weapon, every vehicle in your disposal, and then see some piece of shit with a plume fall out of a drop pod and be like, whoa,
bro.
why didn't I think of that?
Well, that was like
Get out of the
so
pod
fast.
when it lands.
So you can start shooting before the doors open? I had no idea.
So now I just picture Cato Sicarius, like bolter up, just shooting the shit out of the door.
It's like, dude, we haven't even landed yet.
And he was like, always prepared.
right.
Bunch
And
of
so,
tech-
like, the bolter rounds are ricocheting around inside of the drop pod, and when the doors open, they all shoot out and like
the rest of his squad
kill all of the
killed.
orcs.
Every single Ultramarine on that drop pod dead.
But
But those 4 orcs,
Perfect.
surprised.
yeah, probably.
What was it? It reminds me of like the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where Lancelot goes to the thing and he just starts killing all the guards and everyone's
yeah.
like standing around. That's Cato Sicarius, kind
Yeah.
of like a modern day Lancelot.
Exactly.
He was also an Ultramarine police. He was a military police officer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was responsible for the prosecution of those within the chapter.
Oh, right. They had
Yeah.
to do honor duels, and he single-handedly cut the number of honor duels down.
He
so
did.
He'd have less honor duels than any other.
As
Any
my son
other,
walks into the
yeah.
camera. What's up, buddy? Welcome to YouTube.
We'll blur his face out in editing.
Bold of you
won't
to
haunt
assume
him.
that I edit. I didn't even start the video on time, so I don't know how I'm going to edit it around that one. It's fine. Maybe I'll just put like a little like Mop Rules logo over here. Call it good.
Hilarious.
Wonderful. But yeah, so he presided over the honor duels.
Also, so an Inquisitor like accused Tigurius of witchcraft at one point in time. And so,
what with him being a witch and all.
Well, I mean, like, but he said he's like extra witchy.
Sicarius standing outside of a gingerbread house being like, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Let's get in here, eat some candy.
I'm getting these children up to snuff for their training, not to eat, guys. So anyway, so this Inquisitor is like, Sicarius, like, it's time for you're going to have to fight. I'm sorry, this Inquisitor is like, well, Tigurius, you're a fucking witch. You should die. And Calgar is like, nah, bro. This is exact transcripts, by the way.
Okay,
he's
for
like,
sure.
He's like, nah, bro. Sicarius, kick his ass. And so Sicarius like walks down, and the Inquisitor's like, all right, cool, I got a champion. Powers up this Chrono Gladiator Robo Ape that he has.
Wait,
yeah.
did he fight a robot monkey?
Yep. Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
The story gets worse. So he fights this robot monkey, and his first move is like after the robot monkey like drains all of his combat drugs, like Onslaught and
Coke.
Yeah, basically methamphetamines, heroin, everything. Like
but no downers.
Juiced up, steroids. Oh yeah, no downers.
No downers.
Yeah, he definitely did not smoke a blunt. So anyway,
Sicarius though.
Sicarius did the whole time he was fighting this guy, actually.
Because he's that damn cool.
So cool. He wore sunglasses inside. It was badass. Anyway, so first move he has is to punch this ape in the face and break all the drug vials. Because I guess all the drug vials were conveniently located in the face area. So
this Inquisitor designing this monkey. There's like all of these important drug vials. Where do you want them? Shit, in the armor? You didn't leave enough space. It's an ape. I'm like, damn it. Okay, just put him on his face. No one's going to punch an ape in the face.
No one's going to punch an ape in the face. That's rude. So Sicarius punches the ape in the face and dances around him with his sword out, kind of like using the sword not to cut the monkey, but to just like...
Because that's animal cruelty.
Right, so he just keeps punching it and kicking him. So he beats this monkey to death. Without using his sword. Just the sword is like a parrying device to parry like the electro flail and the power mace and everything else. And so he walks up to the Inquisitor and is like, what now, bitch? And the Inquisitor like reaches for a pistol under his coat because he's pissed, and Sicarius cuts his hand off. And then the Inquisitor goes to reach for his hand to get his hand back, and Sicarius crushes the hand under his boots into I believe it was some kind of gory meat paste. And then he goes back and stabs the monkey in the head.
So, okay.
And says, "Get the fuck out."
You're a monkey. You're living your peaceful life on the jungles of...
No, hold on. It wasn't an actual monkey. It was a combat like servitor that was built like an ape.
Oh, good.
And it was powered by the intelligence of a serial killer. I can't even make this up.
Because I just have the image now of a monkey peacefully living in some jungle world somewhere.
Oh, yeah. And Inquisitor darts him like...
Inquisitor darts him. He wakes up with a serial killer brain. So now you have like a serial killer who's like, man, I paid for my crimes. And
Isn't
then
that
wakes up...
basically a Superman villain?
Wakes up in the body of a monkey. And the Inquisitor's like, okay, bud, there's more. Here's a bunch of drugs in your face.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel this blocks my vision, my field of view. And he's like, nah, man, it's fine. You're not even going to get in a real fight. You're my bodyguard. You're good. And then
You'll probably
like,
never have to fight.
Going back to where it says he was in charge of all of the fights in the Ultramarines.
Yeah.
How Mary Sue he is they leave, his opponents leave shaken, humbled, and fewer defendants have chosen trial by combat against him than any other Master of the Watch for 3,000 years. Probably because he's a boring dick.
He probably has some kind of philosophical lesson he tries to teach you as he's like beating you with his sword.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh man, yeah.
This is for leaving the dishes out. Like, because that's what happened. That's what Ultramarines get punished for, shit like that. Or like, your greave wasn't as clean as it should have been.
Yeah. No, man, there's so much information about this monkey.
It's so much, man. So let's talk about Blackreach.
Blackreach, when he first kind of came to prominence, part of that 4th edition box set, right?
Right. So that was Ultramarines versus Orcs, and he had the second company at his disposal against 10,000 Orcs.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, those are fair odds, right?
He probably failed morale test because of his Cato Sicarius'
yeah, he has some kind of anyway. Buff. So Sicarius whoops up on these Orcs real hard. Like, he beats the ever-living shit out of them. And at the end of the campaign, he kills all 10,000 Orcs. He even decapitates the war boss himself. He loses 1 Terminator and 12 Marines. They die. And the chapter's like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you won, but like at the same time, could you have like maybe
could you not have killed 13?
I mean, like that's 13 dudes, dude. That's pretty high casualty, right?
I feel all of the Ultramarines of Blackreach were just kind of hanging around while Cato Sicarius is like just killing everyone around them.
Like he just walks in a circle,
and the ones who died were like accidental friendly fire from like getting up to go take a leak or something and kind of crossing Sicarius' murder path.
Sure, or he shot him with his plasma pistol, Sun Fury. That's the name of his plasma pistol.
Of course it is. Yeah. 2 relics, of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't he have a relic plasma pistol and a relic Telasserin battle blade? I believe that's what his weapon is called.
It's a beautiful sword. After Blackreach, he fought a bunch of Chaos Raiders.
Yep. Including the Demon Prince Makar, the Reborn.
The Thrice-Born.
Yeah. Oh, man. East is not the Twice-Born. He beats that guy up a couple of times, I think, including when he brings the Iron Warriors. I think that's where Hanzo comes in.
Yep.
Like from the Graham McNeil books. And he also hates Uriel Ventress, which sucks because Uriel Ventress is actually like probably the coolest captain, even though like he's, I don't know, those books are not great either. Sorry, Graham McNeil. I'm sure you're a great guy. You have plenty of other good books. So he goes then to Damnos.
Yeah. Which pulls us into our 9th edition topics because he's fighting against young Necrons on Damnos.
As they're waking up. So nobody really knows a lot about Necrons at this point in time.
He does. Right? He knows like literally everything about Necrons.
Of course he did, because it is Cato Sicarius. And so
and he went down with a 2-prong drop pod insertion.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you have the main force, which was Cato's force, and then a flanking force, which was led by Sicarius to take out the Necron pylons, which were quote unquote skyfiring his Thunderhawks to death. If anyone remembers that role.
This piece of shit tried to buy time for an assault force by taking on the supreme overlord of the planet. That isn't a buying time move.
Nope, and he gets fucking punked.
Oh, good.
Like finally. So this is the one time where Sicarius like gets his ass whooped, right? And so like I mean he wins some small victories, but in the end the Necrons are too many for the Space Marines, and they end up kicking them off the planet.
Yeah.
And they have to evacuate with most of the population.
Lost World, of course, Sicarius given the credit for evacuating a large part of the civilian population for their Space Marines famed for their care for regular Imperial citizens.
Yeah, of course. And then that kind of takes us to, we'll skip ahead a little bit. And go to Damnos 2, Goss Boogaloo. And then basically word gets to Terra that's like, hey, Sicarius lost this world. And Terra's like, Ultramarines, come on, guys. Like, you're our poster boys. You need to go back and take this. So Kelgar rounds up the troops, gets the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 7th company, or 6 companies together.
Sure, half your chapter. That seems like an appropriate response, right?
Yeah. 500 Space Marines to like take down this Necron planet. And they barely win, and the way that they win, and this has nothing to do with Cato Sicarius.
Can it say, though, when he found out there was 500 Ultramarines going to take that planet, he smiled for the first time in decades.
Oh, God. fuck him.
It brought his smile back.
God, stop. All right.
How Sicarius got his groove back.
Yeah, right. He had sex with a toaster. So, yeah, and he like on the way there, he slept in his battle training cage, like because he was practicing so hard.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what you want to practicing.
Jerking it.
So another 2-pronged assault happened.
Because it worked so well the first time.
Right, it did. No, I don't know if it was 2-pronged. It was probably 3. And so what happened was I think they were losing because the Necrons had like this badass like energy field around their monoliths that protected them from all harm. So Calgar, like, he pushes a pylon's energy beam like against the Necrons. Like he turns it with his power fists.
As you do.
And shoots the Necrons' own weapons back at them. And that disables the field, and the Marines are able to take the day.
That doesn't only like disable the field, that freezes Satan.
Oh yeah, it freezes Satan, which also fucks up the Necrons pretty bad.
So they all ran away.
Yeah.
The Satan teleported away.
The Necron, the Overlord, like died, but then reanimated. But there were Death Watch waiting there for him, and they like instead of having rejuvenate like nanites like come into his sarcophagus.
Melted bombs.
Just plug melted bombs on it, so he just blows him up.
I like to imagine this is like Angry Marine style, like 8,000 melted bombs, like covering the top of the sarcophagus
With like a fuse, yeah.
But this takes us down in modern 40k time, where he's still
Just a douche.
one of the top people. Roboot Girly Man comes back, resurrected as a heretical Xenos fraud with his alien armor, and decides to head back to Terra, accompanied by only the finest Ultramarines and Cato Sicarius. He was...
Nice, I like that.
that's a real subtle burn. And so, yeah, a lot of Space Marines kind of went back with him, as well as kind of some of the forces from Cadia.
And then Gulliman sends him back to Ultramar with Primaris reinforcements, and he gets lost in the warp.
Yeah, he loses all the Primaris.
No, they make
it.
Make it, but he doesn't somehow.
However, thanks to his unwavering faith, he survives in the warp.
How? I don't know. I honestly don't know. He just like shows up at Ultramar and no one's like, hey, where have you been? Why were you stuck in the warp? Are you still pure? Like, nope, nobody asked him that question.
No one. He just arrived as a Cato Sicarius.
As he does. It is I, Cato Sicarius.
And in the time that he got lost in the warp and survived, much I would assume like Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure.
He was replaced as a second company commander.
Correct.
So he's captain. So he's no longer the captain of the second company.
Correct.
So when he returns and everyone's like, oh, cool, you're back. We kind of replaced you already.
Yeah, sorry. We're not even going to consider giving you back your captaincy. But this other guy, he seems cool. So, I mean, I don't know. You can do something. You can hang out or whatever.
So he became just kind of the captain of the Victrix honor guard.
Yep.
But he's just a regular Joe. No Primaris for that guy.
Nope.
He does not need it.
Just the big douche.
He has everything. He has all of the relics, all of the war gear.
He has the best artificer armor that is in Ultramar. They say that specifically.
Mary Sue, originally in fanfiction, is a type of female character who is depicted as unrealistically lacking in flaws or weaknesses, which I think is something that Sicarius suffers from, because what are his weaknesses?
He has none. He's like Superman.
He has none. Yeah, he is this great person. He has all these great titles. Like, I think there's a lot of promise as a character, and like getting lost in the warp, I'm like, oh, cool. Something interesting will happen.
Right.
Maybe there'll be some taint. Or
maybe he'll fail.
Maybe he'll fail, but no, he just shows up and he's like, yeah, it's cool. I was just out getting smokes and I'm back now. So
pay no attention to me.
Pay no attention to me. But I want every Ultramarine player listening to this to just make one tiny Vicatrix card, like to go amongst all the Primaris guys. Just one little man syndrome Vicatrix.
Nice.
Just to kind of get so the Cato Sicarius
lives on.
So he lives on in all of us. And that has been The worst character in Warhammer